What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unscripted Sports Show. I'm your host, Eric, and I'm with my brother Chris and Cleneth. How are you guys? You guys can hear me?
Yep, doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How was your guys' weekend?
Good. Good weekend. Just relaxing.
Yes, it was. I only worked on Saturday, so that was good. So tonight we'll be doing the NFL season's coming up in less than 3 days now. Thursday night will be the Ravens and the defending champion, two-time back-to-back champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, hosting the Baltimore Ravens in Kansas City on Thursday night, and then Friday, all of us are Eagle fans, so we're waiting for the Eagles and Packers from Brazil if they even play. Air quality in Brazil is not good right now, but I'm sure they're gonna play because they spent a lot of money trying to go over there, so they can't cancel it unless it's really really bad. Have you guys heard anything, or if it is it even a possibility they cancel it?
Nope.
I think they hold it.
Yeah, they spent too much money and too much ads to go over there and cancel it. So yeah, so Thursday night and Friday we have Friday night football for the first time in NFL history. Um, Exclusively on Peacock. So it won't be on local TV. It will be on Peacock. So
It will be on local TV though.
huh?
It's
Yeah,
on
for
local TV.
Philadelphia. Yeah, it'll be local.
Philadelphia and
Oh,
Green
okay.
Bay is on Channel 10.
Okay, it is okay. Thank you, guys. I thought it was just on Peacock.
But nationally, it'll be on Peacock, I believe. But locally to those markets, it'll
For
be
Green Bay and
local.
Philadelphia, it will be locally for them because not everybody has Peacock, so it's only fair that at least the locals, get to watch it. So tonight we'll be doing our predictions, giving our division winners, our Super Bowl picks, and then 8 games that I picked, the 4 primetime games and then 4 other games. We'll pick them, and then if any of us have best bets, and then we'll give out a fantasy player for the week that we think is going to have a good week, since we're all into fantasy football. So let's get started. Hold on. And let's do the NFC. Let's leave. Let's start with the NFC West. So there's our picks. You two have the Niners winning. I have the Rams winning. I think the Rams are gonna have. I like what the Rams did in the offseason. I think as long as Cooper stays healthy, I think they have a good receiving core, and I think Stafford, if he stays healthy, I think they can give the Niners a run for their money. What are your who wants to start? What's your guys' thoughts on this division?
I'll go. I think the Niners win it, but I think that they are a Brock Purdy injury away from it all falling apart.
Even a Christian McCaffrey, right?
Or Christian McCaffrey. I think either of those two players. I don't think Brock Purdy's elite by any means, but I couldn't name either backup. So I think he does elevate that team. He's probably a top 15 quarterback in the league right now, and he does run that offense very efficiently. But I think that they got too much firepower. They have the best coach in the league, in my opinion, and Kyle Shanahan, arguably next to Andy Reid. But those two are 1A and 1B for me. So I think the Niners take it. I think they just have too much firepower. But I think that it could all fall apart very easily. with a Trent Williams holdout, which I don't think will happen, or a Christian McCaffrey and Brock Purdy injury, which could very well
or even
happen.
Debo.
Debo's hurt every year, so I think they're used to playing without him.
Yeah, even George Kittle gets injured now every year, or even one of the Bravos. Which one is on the defense? Because they lose a key guy on defense.
Nick Bosa or Hargrave.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw what happened in the Super Bowl when they lost. I forget his name, the linebacker. But that was pretty much a turning point in the Super Bowl when he went down.
Yeah. How about you, Cleneth? What are your
All right.
thoughts on the division?
So I'll pick the 49ers because I think what your brother says, right? I think if they are one quarterback away of being hurt, but I look at Kyle Shanahan as that he's a type of coach that can just plug any quarterback in. So I don't look at it as a Brock Purdy injury. I look at it as a Christian McCaffrey injury away
Yeah.
of not winning the division. Because I think
McCaffrey's
everybody.
already been injured this offseason, so
I think he's always banged up, but he also he hasn't practiced and he's hardly played because what's the point, right? That you know what you're getting out of Christian McCaffrey. You're just trying to keep him healthy at this point. So
exactly.
I think it's very cautious, but yeah, I agree. I think that they can plug any quarterback in.
Yeah, because even if you go back 2 years ago in the NFC Championship game, they did score with their backup quarterback Josh Johnson. So don't take any way away.
Yep. I mainly picked the Rams just to be a little different because everybody's expecting the Niners to win the division, rightfully so. It's like the Eagles with the NFC East, but I think the Rams are a sleeper in that division because I like Matthew Stafford. I think if he stays healthy, I think he has something to prove, and I think the Rams are just a decent, good team. They proved that last year. So let's move on to let's go to the NFC South. Probably the weakest division in football, I would say, maybe. So we all have the Falcons win the division. This division is probably wide open, if you ask me. But
Well, if you ask me, this division has come down to two teams, and that's the Buccaneers and that's the Falcons.
yep,
That's a toss-up.
yeah. Could the Panthers be a sleeper?
So, no. I don't think Bryce Young's not even
ready
in
yet.
the league yet. He's not ready yet.
Yeah, I think bringing in Kirk Cousins with the Falcons, I think, Kirk Cousins is always the butt of all jokes, but he's a very good quarterback at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And he's looked great in preseason. And if you take a look at the roster construction of the Falcons, they've had a win now roster for the last at least 2 years by drafting Kyle Pitts, Drake London, now Bijan Robinson. Their defense is atrocious, but they do have AJ Terrell, who they just extended. And the most important change this offseason was addition by subtraction by getting rid of Arthur Smith. So getting rid of Arthur Smith, who does some weird things and refuses to use his skill players all the time, I think they're going to be really good this year.
Yeah.
For that division.
And I like Drake London. I know they had Ridley, but Drake London is, I think it's an underrated wide receiver. You're going to see big things from him this year, I hope.
Yeah. So if you ask me, I think it's the NFC South can come down. The top two teams is Buccaneers and Falcons, which I have Falcons winning. The Saints are sleeper. I give the Saints because you can't just X out a team that has Alvin Kamara, one of the dangerous running backs in the league, and Michael Thomas if he's
Healthy.
And it's just, to me, I think the Saints is lacking consistent quarterback play, and they haven't found that. I don't think David Carr might be a substitute, but he's more what we say as what we said about Brock Purdy. It's just if they're injury away. You have Tyson Hill, who's their tight end, who also played quarterback, which is kind of weird.
Yeah. I think
I
the
have a
Saints
bold
could.
prediction regarding the Saints. I think Spencer Rattler is going to be starting by week 6 or 7 or 8, around there.
Yeah.
He's looked very, very good. I think they drafted him for a reason. He was a high upside flyer, and for all intents and purposes, he's looked very good, considering where he was drafted. So I don't think Derek Carr is going to be the quarterback, probably by the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Saints are a team to look out for, maybe as a wild card to sneak in. Them and the Bucks could both sneak in. I think as we talk about the rest of the NFC is kind of weak besides the top 4, top 5 teams.
Yeah, I agree.
And anything else, guys, for that division?
Nah.
Let's go to the NFC North. We'll save the NFC East for last for the NFC. So we all have the Lions winning the NFC North. You want to go first, Cleneth?
Yeah, I'll take the one. All right. So, along with this, South, the North is a 2-team division between Green Bay and the Lions. That's the way I look at it. I think the Lions will do it over because it's more. I think they're more hungrier and more experienced. Don't get me wrong. I believe in Jordan Love, but there's a lot of new faces they gotta get used to with Green Bay than it is with Detroit. Yeah, I think team chemistry right there gives the Detroit an advantage in the division. We already saw that Minnesota lost their quarterback at training camp, so I don't think so. I think just so I'm not sure we're going to have a big star year from Jefferson because they're missing a quarterback, and I don't have faith in Sam Darnold to make him look like a starter he should be. And Caleb Williams is good. It's a sleeper as well. I think we'll figure out what the Bears are going to do this season, how well he plays.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think Lions are it's a toss up between Green Bay. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say toss up. It's a 2-horse race between Green Bay and the Lions. Gonna be honest, I was rewatching some Jordan Love film. I think he's a very good quarterback. I think he's a tier 2 quarterback. I think people are overestimating Green Bay this season, considering of how they dismantled the Cowboys at the end of the season last year. But if you take a look at the rosters, I think the Lions just have a better roster top to bottom on almost every position. I think Jared Goff at this point is a better quarterback than Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love could overtake him this year. But right now, Jared Goff is better, in my opinion. I think he is an elite quarterback when playing in ideal conditions and a mediocre quarterback when he plays in the cold weather. And I recently looked at the Lions schedule. They have 14 games in a dome. They have 1 game at Lambeau, 1 game Chicago, 1 game in San Francisco. So he's only going to play 2 cold weather games at most this season. So you take a look at Jared Goff. running backs way better in Detroit with the two-headed monster versus Josh Jacob, who is a great running back. But then you take a look at the receivers. I think Jameson Williams is going to have a great year. And Ross St. Brown's probably a top 7 wide receiver. I don't think Christian Watson stays healthy this year. Romeo Doubs is a fine receiver, but he's more like a 2 or a 3. And then you take a look at the defense. I don't think it's close either. And then you take a look off the offensive lines and the defensive lines. The lines are just better top to bottom. So they are my pick for the NFC North, and they are also my pick for the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Yeah. I'm not high on the Packers. I actually have them missing the playoffs. I'm not high on Jordan Love. I think he needs to prove it more. I think there's only one team that comes out of the North. Or maybe I have 2. I forget. I only have one team coming out of the North. And that's the Lions. I think the Lions are close to an elite team in the conference. They're up there with the Niners and Eagles. I think those are the 3 best teams in the NFC. Whatever order you think, they're all in the same boat right there. So, yeah, I think the Lions might run away with the division.
Yeah, and I think I didn't talk about the Bears. I think Minnesota's not worth talking about. I think they're going to be ass. But I think the Bears are a sleeper pick.
Yeah.
Mainly because if you take a look at some of their pieces on that roster,
I
don't know if Caleb Williams is going to have the rookie year that CJ Stroud did, because I think that's just very, very rare to be a Pro Bowler in your first year. But I think Caleb Williams is the truth. I think he's very, very good. Yep. But then you take a look at the receivers, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. I'm a big fan of Ramadunze. Yeah. Defensive side of the ball, TJ Edwards, Jalen Johnson is a top 5, arguably cornerback in the league. So they got some really good pieces.
Don't forget Swift.
DeAndre Swift. I think they added Montez Sweat at the deadline last year. He's been very good for them. So
you can't forget about Keenan Allen.
And Keenan Allen, yeah.
They added some veterans to that squad to put around Cameron Williams, and that's smart.
I don't think there's
have to rely on rookies or young players around him. He has
I agree.
2 veteran wide receivers who've been there. Just needs to stay healthy. And you get a running back like Swift. We all know what he did in Philly last year. We didn't want to let him go, but it is what it is. And he did great. He did great things here. No.
So Caleb Williams is the best quarterback prospect probably the last 10 years. I think even more so than Trevor Lawrence. He's probably the best prospect since maybe Andrew Luck. And I don't think there is a single, probably in the history of the NFL, a single starting rookie quarterback as highly touted as he is, who's entering a better situation than he will be entering.
Yep. Yeah, I think I agree with you guys. The Bears are a sleeper. I don't have them making the playoffs, but they could. I could see them making the playoffs. Now let's go to our team's division. Oh, wrong one. Surprise, surprise. We all have the Eagles winning the division. I'll let you start, Chris.
Yeah, I think it's the best roster in football. I don't think you can necessarily argue that maybe the 49ers. But top to bottom, we don't really have a weakness outside of linebacker. And then a young offensive line, which, the middle is unproven with Kelsey leaving. Cam Jurgens is his first year starting at center. So other than that, I think that if you take a look at the rest of the division, I mean, we can let's ignore the Giants and the Commanders for now. I don't think they're ready, especially the Giants. Commanders, I think they're a little bit better with Jaden Daniels, but then you take a look at the Cowboys. I think they're another one of those teams that are an injury away from a key position and everything falls apart. You take a look at wide receiver, right? CeeDee Lamb's the top 3 receiver in the league probably right now. Who did they have after that? Brandon Cooks. I mean, he's often hurt. Very productive in his career, but he's often very hurt. And I mean,
No running backs. They had to
yeah,
bring Zeke back.
they had brought Zeke back. Rico Dowdle's fine, but these are all positions that are just hanging on by a thread. I feel like
They were so desperate at running back, they brought Zeke.
yeah, they lost. I will say their defense will probably still be pretty good to elite. They lost Dan Quinn, but they brought in Mike Zimmer. You're getting Trayvon Diggs back. I think Al Harris is one of the best assistant coaches in the league. I mean, what he's done with that defensive back room with Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs, he has them operating at a very, very high level. But like I said, they're pretty thin outside of like their star players, and they don't really have a lot of depth. And they can't afford to because Jerry Jones waited to sign CeeDee Lamb. So now he had to overpay for him. Dak's due for an extension. Mike is due for an extension soon. So, yeah, they got a lot of money in the books pretty soon here. So, Eagles are going to win the division pretty easily, in my opinion.
Yeah. Your thoughts, Cleneth?
So I want to pick the Eagles because I want to say that we haven't had a repeat division winner. So I'm going to X out the Cowboys right there. I want to pick the Eagles because they're better on paper. They're better. We had a better draft, and I think Howie is one of the best GMs in football all around. I think people said ever since 2 years ago when they got Devontae Smith, I think his drafting gotten much better than it was over the last 9 years with Andy Reid.
Yep.
He addressed the need of cornerback in the draft. You got Jeremiah Trotter Sr. in the draft, a linebacker, which we needed badly. Offensively, we went and we got stole Saquon from the Giants. I think he's a better upgrader than on Swift. So I'm not angry that Swift was let go. If you was going to get Saquon, I'll trade that any day of the week.
Exactly.
With I'll say this: with the Cowboys, I think their season was over at the start of the offseason. When they let go of all their players, they said they was going to go all in. They just stood around and let CeeDee Lamb just sit out training camp because of the contract, knowing that he was going to pay them anyway. But he do it all for publicity stunts. I think this is more about the whole contract with CeeDee Lamb. They know he was going to pay him. They just did it because they want people to talk about the Cowboys, and they sign on like a day after during his training, give him the contract. Because now you have Michael Parsons. He's looking for a contract. Yeah, Dak Prescott. I think we're going to see Dak Prescott last year as the Dallas Cowboy. This is it. I'm calling it now. I don't think he comes back.
Yeah.
And sadly, it's true. Someone's going to overpay for Dak Prescott to be a starting quarterback somewhere. Don't know who. $60 million. But he's going to reset the market.
Yeah. My thoughts. The Eagles winning, obviously. I think just like the Lions, I think they could run away with the division, but as we saw last year, if I don't want to mention last year, but it's still in the back of our minds. But I think Jalen Hurts is going to be better. I mean, he has to be. He has these weapons. Nick Sirianni has to be a better coach. He has better coordinators around him now, so there's no excuses this year. They have to win. They better win the division, or Nick could be fired. I don't know if you guys agree with that. This is a must-win division this year.
I think Nick gets. Go ahead, Con.
I look at it like this. I think if the Eagles have a collapse like they did last year, Nick Sirianni is gone.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
fine.
no question.
I think if they don't win at least one playoff game, I think he's gone. Because I don't think Howie Roseman. Don't forget Howie Roseman fired Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl winning head coach.
Yeah.
A few years after he won the Super Bowl. I don't think he has the patience, especially since he constructed the best roster. It's not how if it all fails, it's not Howie Roseman's fault. That's for sure. He has gone out and gotten people like Jahan Dotson to fill every single gap, every single hole in this roster. He's made a concerted effort to try
You
to
could
fill.
have been the best trio of wide receivers in the league.
I don't think it's close. I can't name another one.
Cincinnati? No, they don't.
Tyler Boyd's not there anymore.
No. Oh, Seattle.
DK Metcalf hasn't been good, and
Seattle within that's me.
AJ Brown's a top 5 receiver. Devontae Smith's a top 15 to 20 receiver. And
Boston's is
probably the best.
Boston's a good slot receiver.
He's probably the best wide receiver 3. He was. I don't know if there's a better wide receiver 3 in the league. He's a wide receiver 2 on any other team, at best, at most, or at least I should say.
Yeah, there's no excuses for the Eagles this year. No way, especially in this city. Howie knows this city very well, and there's no excuses. I hate to put that out there, but there's no excuses.
Especially when you have the greatest coach of all time out there without a job right now, taking a year off. I think I saw reports that they were poking around on Bill Belichick's availability this past offseason, but you better believe that if they don't meet expectations, they will not hesitate to try to get Bill Belichick. I firmly believe that's in the back of Howie Roseman's mind. I think that's in Jeffrey Lurie's mind. I think Nick Sirianni knows that he's on the hot seat. So
I think the first 6 to 8 games are going to be a turning point for this team. Maybe in the first 4. So let's look at our NFC seedings. I'll go first. I'll put mine first. So I have the Lions number 1, so they get the bye week. I have the Eagles number 2, the Rams 3, the Falcons 4, the Niners 5, the Seahawks 6, and I got a surprise team. I got Washington. I think I like Jalen Daniels. Obviously, he won the Heisman Trophy. I think he's the next RG3 if you kind of compare him to RG3. But yeah, and I think Washington can surprise some people. Not just a throw out pick, but I think they could surprise people because I think the wild card is wide open this year for the NFC. Anybody can sneak in. And who wants to go next? So I'll go to Chris.
Yeah, I have Lions as number 1. I think they have a good schedule, favorable schedule. Eagles is number 2. I think they have the best roster in the league. Niners is number 3. I still think they're a very good team. And then that leaves the Falcons as number 4 as probably the worst division in the league. But they'll get the number 4. I think the Packers do make the playoffs. I think the Seahawks are going to bounce back this year. I really like Mike McDonald, liking what I'm seeing there. And then the Bears, I think sleeper as well. So,
Cleneth?
All right. So I'll take the 49ers. For some reason, I just think they will get the number 1 seed. The Eagles will be second, along with the Lions in third. Falcons edging out Tampa Bay with a better conference division record when they're taking a south. Hosting the Bucks in the wild card. Packers is 6. Bears is 7. And I think I just threw the Bears in there. I don't really know. That 7 seed is going to be like a 3-way or 4-way tie between Seattle. I don't know. I just threw the Bears just because I think Caleb Williams might, if the Bears make the playoff, Caleb Williams will win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. I thought about the Bears too, but you guys put them, so I decided to put Washington just to be a tad different. So,
But I think the Bears got a better defense. That's what Caleb Williams has.
yeah.
All the rookies, that's a better defense.
Oh, I agree. We'll give out our. I'll put out the Super Bowl picks after this. We'll do the AFC next. Let's do the AFC East. So we each you guys pick the Jets. I'm not as high on the Jets as everybody else. I know Aaron Rodgers is one of the best of all time, but he's coming off a serious injury, and it's the Jets. And I know Josh Allen doesn't have. I know the Bills don't have Stephon Diggs, and they don't have the weapons around Josh Allen. But at this point in his career, I think Josh Allen is better than Aaron Rodgers. But again, the Bills don't have the weapons. But I think somebody could emerge, and as a weapon for Josh Allen. Josh Allen's gonna have to do a lot, but I think the division is wide open. But I think it's still the Bills to win. Who wants to go next?
I think this is the most wide open division, in my opinion, in the entire league. I picked the Jets mainly because I think they have a top. Last year they had like a top 2 defense in the league. It was them and the Cowboys and the Browns. So they probably have a top 3 defense in the league. Really good defense. Quinn Williams is awesome. Obviously, Sauce Gardner. And then you take a look at Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he needs to be old Aaron Rodgers or prime Aaron Rodgers for them to win. I think if he just plays like a top 15 quarterback with the amount of weapons they have on offense, I think they'll win a lot of games. I think the Bills, Josh Allen, still the top 5 quarterback, top 5 to 7 quarterback, still very, very good. I just don't think they have enough on that roster to win enough games, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think Josh Allen could will them to victory in some of those games. Patriots are going to be awful. I think Drake May's awesome, but I just think they're a couple years away. And then Dolphins, it's hard to gauge. I think they're a very fun team. I think what they do well, they do very, very well. With their offense, how potent it is, kill you with speed. But I think they're kind of soft when they get punched in the mouth. I don't think they're a tough team. And then losing Vic Fangio for them, I think it's going to be a bigger deal than people make out to be.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So with this division, I look at it as like this. It's a 2-way team race between the Jets and the Dolphins. The Bills, I'm sorry. Bills are it's trash. I'm sorry. And I know Doug's going to hear this and was like, what's going on? But the Bills fell away are complete trash from last year. They're in the rebuilding season. Josh Allen has nothing. They let go of the crybaby, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis. No, they're trash. They're a Patriots level right now. They're the third best team because the Patriots are garbage as well. Dolphins and Jets are going to rival each other. I think Aaron Rodgers, I give the Jets the edge over Aaron Rodgers because I don't think 3 plays season's going to end like it did on Monday night this year. I think that this is going to be a two-way team. I think the Jets are going to win and have a one-game lead when give them the AFC title, and I think it's going to make a special run in the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to say the Bills are trash, but I, I think it's the fact that they don't have any weapons around him. They got rid of stuff on Diggs hurts, and their defense is still solid.
I don't think so.
I don't.
They're Swiss cheese.
I don't know. As my brother said, this division is wide open, so it could go anyway. Besides the Patriots, I think it's just kind of a 3-team race. Because I'm not as high as on the Jets as you guys are, but who knows? This division is going to be a fun division to watch unfold. And you never know. The Bills could get a wide receiver at the deadline. I don't know if, I don't know what wide receiver.
It's not even a wide receiver. It's a running back. They have a running back no more, man. It's a wide receiver. It's a run. All they have is what? Allen and the tight end.
Don't they have James Cook?
He's not a big time. I don't look at James Cook as like a big time. He's gonna be a threat to watch to carry that team when it needs to be.
That's fair. But yeah, it's going to be a wide open division. I think nobody's going to run away with it. I think it's going to come down to the last 3-4 games. So it should be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if both did miss the playoffs. But yeah, let's go to the AFC South. Now this division, we all have the Texans winning. I'll let you start, Chris.
Yeah, I think they made pretty good upgrades this offseason. I really, really like CJ Stroud. So 2 quarterbacks that I watched a lot of film on recently were Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. I wanted to refresh my memory on some Jordan Love highlights and see how good he really was, and he was very good. And right after I watched CJ Stroud highlights, and they're 2 completely different levels. I think CJ Stroud is an elite quarterback. I think he'll probably finish towards the top of MVP voting. He might not win it, but he'll definitely finish top 3 in my opinion. You take a look at the roster, adding Stephon Diggs. Yeah, he's a little bit older. Yes, towards the end of his career, but I think he's going to be very productive, especially when you have Nico Collins and Tank Dell taking away some of the attention. They added Joe Mixon. Their defense is going to be really good. Derek Stingley Jr. is becoming a really, really good player. And then Will Anderson is coming off Rookie of the Year. So couple that with D'Amico Ryans, couple that with just having that level of quarterback. Yeah, I don't think it'll be particularly close in a weak division.
Yeah. Cleneth?
All right. I think this is a division. It's going to be a 3-team race between the Colts, Texans, and Jacksonville Jaguars. I think the Texans, had a better offseason compared to the other 2 teams. Adding Joe Mixon, trading for Stephon Diggs, and giving CJ Stroud more veteran type weapons to use in this offense. On paper, I think the Texans are going to be a better team and surprising team that's going to win this division. I think I say Jaguars because not only Trevor Lawrence, but you have Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl fair quality coach. That's, I think, will keep Jacksonville in the race, keeping it close. I don't think Tennessee is not it's still rebuilding and still trying to find a quarterback to lead that. And now they lost Derrick Henry. So the Titans, I don't think they're the bottom of the barrel looking to rebuild for next year.
Yeah,
Colts, yeah, and with the Colts with Anthony Richardson, I am looking forward to see what he can actually do in a full season.
exactly. I love the Texans. I love the roster. CJ is one of my favorite quarterbacks, especially in fantasy. I think he's gonna be top 3 fantasy quarterback this year. I love the weapons around him: Stephon Diggs, Collins, and who was the other receiver? Is it Dell?
Tank Dell.
Yep. I think he's gonna be. If you want to say another trio that's good, it could be the Texans. Trio wide receivers that compares to the Eagles, it could be the Texans. But we'll see. We'll see what Tank Bell is. But they have Nico Collins, and we all know what Stephon Diggs can do. Yeah, they have 2 fast receivers, just like the Dolphins do. But yeah, I'm high on the Texans this year. I like the Colts. I like their roster. Jonathan Taylor. We got Anthony Richardson as a Gators fan. He was great in for the Gators. So yeah, Anthony Richardson just has to stay healthy, and so does JT. But I think Colts can give them a run for their money because there's high expectations in Houston. For the first time in a long time, Houston is the best team in the state of Texas, not the Dallas Cowboys. There's more expectation for the Texans than the Cowboys. Who would have ever thought that?
I think a team that is, I don't know if they'll be good record wise. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. I think they're going to be a lot better than people are predicting. Is the Titans. Adding Calvin Ridley, I know Tony Pollard didn't have the best year last year, but they just added Brian Callahan, who is the OC in Cincinnati for Joe Burrow for the last couple of years, and he's their head coach now. So you have all the weapons for a very explosive offense. So I think they might be a team to monitor this season.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting year for the Texans, but there's a lot of expectations, and I don't think they've had that in their history. And sometimes expectations don't always work out. So we'll see. The next division, I think, might be the best division in football. The old NFC North. You, Chris, have the Browns. I have the Ravens, and then Clinton has the Ravens. You want to start this out, Clinton?
Yeah, I picked the Ravens because I think I think when you add Derrick Henry to a run power offense as what the Ravens are, and adding Lamar Jackson as a dual threat cornerback, and you have Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews there, that offense already to an elite defense. I think the Ravens were a piece or two away. And I think when you add Derrick Henry, steady, and he was a running back away, a healthy running back away. I'm sorry, you need a healthy running back. So when they stole Derrick Henry from the Cowboys, because I really thought Derrick Henry was going to Dallas from the Cowboys in the offseason, I think that really propelled them to give them that missing piece they needed to help them win the division. I think with the Steelers and the quarterback carousel, I don't think Russell Wilson is going to be as good as he once was in Seattle. I think they're going to wind up bitching Wilson and putting Justin Fields in this season. The Browns, it's going to give you a run and so is the Bengals. I won't be surprised if the whole AFC North might and the Steelers might find a way because he's Mike Tomlin. Never had a losing season yet.
That's true. Very
Sneak
true.
their way into the playoffs as well, and we have an all AFC North battle in the NFL playoffs.
I have a Steelers question for you, Chris. Do you think
Okay.
Justin Fields would be starting? This for you too, Chris. Do you think Justin Fields will be starting by mid-season?
Probably.
Yes. I don't think you have a guy like Russell Wilson. I just don't think he's a fit for that Steelers culture. I think they got Russell Wilson because he was cheap, and then they saw Justin Fields was available for pretty cheap, so they hedged their bet on that one. So I think getting Justin Fields was an indictment on their confidence in Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think Justin Fields still has something to prove. He's still a young quarterback. I'm not saying the Bears gave up on him too soon because you can't pass up on a talent like Kevin Williams. So they were forced to trade him, forced to move on, kind of. And I think Justin Fields has something to prove. And the fact that he's not even starting yet, I think it's even going to motivate him even more. And then when he does, he might go off. I like Justin Fields. That's like one of the only Ohio State guys I like. But yeah, I think Justin Fields has something to prove. Just like Geno Smith in Seattle did. So we'll see. As far as the Ravens, as you said, Cleneth, they have a load of talent, and they were probably running back way from probably winning the Super Bowl, and they got Derrick Henry, probably the best, one of the best running backs in our era, in this era, if not the best. But yeah, I think he fits well with the Ravens because they like to run the ball, and they like to do RPOs and all that. So yeah. And I like Zay Flowers. So I'll be right back.
While he's away, I'll finish up my thoughts on this division. So I have the Browns. I think their defense was probably the best defense in football last year. Kevin Stefanski is a wonderful coach. Love him or hate him, they're getting Deshaun Watson back fully healthy this year. I don't think he's an elite quarterback. I don't think he's even a great quarterback anymore. I think he's a good enough quarterback. And the Browns were really good last year, all things considered, without having consistency at the quarterback position. So they'll get him back. They'll get Nick Chubb back hopefully by week 5 after he gets out the pup. I think they're a really tough team. It's a really tough division. So yeah, Browns are my pick.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick, Chris. I think Deshaun Watson has something to prove himself. I don't think he's an elite quarterback like he was projected to be because of all the off-field stuff, and it kind of can't pause his career. But he has something to prove. I think he has weapons around him. I think Cleveland has a underrated two-back duo in Cleveland with Nick Chubb and Ford in there. I think Ford is going to be a really good, reliable back until Nick Chubb comes in, and I think two-headed monster. You got a two-headed monster there, and Cleveland's defense has always been up there. Do you have any final thoughts on the division, guys? On this division? Where did you go, Cleneth? Did you?
Yeah, he went. No final thoughts?
Nope. We have one more division that belongs to the defending two-time back-to-back champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. You don't have the Chiefs winning the division. This division is the Chiefs. Chiefs are nothing, basically. This is like the Lions and Eagles. This is probably one of the only divisions besides the Eagles and the Lions that the Chiefs could run away with the division too. I don't. Maybe the Chargers could give them a run for their money because Jim Harbaugh, but just like in Buffalo, they have an elite not elite quarterback, but Justin Herbert is on that second tier, but he doesn't have any weapons around him either. He lost Mike Williams to the Giants, and then Kenny Allen to the Bears. The running back, they lost Austin Eckler to Washington, and then they don't have any wide receivers that I can think of that are that good. And the running back is questionable. So that's great as Jim Harbaugh is, and he won a national championship with Michigan. He's coming back to the NFL. His first go around was all. I mean, no, he took. Never mind. He took the Niners to the Super Bowl, so never mind about that. But yeah, Jim Harbaugh has some work to do with this team, but maybe within 2 years they could be back to being a contender. But I just don't see it. The Raiders are the Raiders, and who am I forgetting in that division? Oh, the Broncos. Broncos could be decent, but they don't have a who's their quarterback?
Bo Nix.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So they have a young quarterback, and so do you guys see anybody giving them a Chiefs a run for their money?
No, I think it's probably the easiest pick out of all of them. I don't think not much to say. You got probably the guy who's going to go down as the greatest quarterback ever when it's all said and done, looking for a three-peat. So yeah, I think it's pretty simple.
It's pretty much if they're it's like San Francisco, as you said, with Brock Purdy. If Patrick Mahomes, God forbid, he gets injured, then it could be wide open. Would you say that?
Yeah, I'd agree.
I don't want to be the one that says that, but I hope he doesn't get injured because he is fantastic to watch. Who wants to go next with the any thoughts on this division? It's not that many to talk about, but
I don't know if Cleneth is still there, but I don't have anything left to say.
Cleneth, are you still there? I don't know if he's still there either.
I'm here.
Oh, what are your thoughts about this division, if you have any?
So the whole AFC West, I think, got worse next to the Chiefs. I think when the Chargers, they got rid of Austin Eckler, letting go of Keenan Allen. I think the Raiders, they're still looking for that QB to throw the ball to Devontae Adams. And then he also lost Josh Jacobs to the Green Bay. And the Broncos are just, I think, getting worse and starting a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. I think this is a cakewalk division for the Kansas City Chiefs already. The Chiefs have to worry about just taking care of winning games to getting home field advantage and taking care of their outside rivals for postseason.
Yeah. That's if the Raiders are bad, Devontae Adams could be traded. He could be one name that is out there that gets traded, but he could be because he could ask to get out because I think he wants to get out.
Don't be surprised if the Jets try to get him at the deadline.
Yeah, I was gonna say that either the Jets or even maybe the Bills. The AFC standings. Let's go with Cleneth first this time. Cleneth.
So I have, like I said, the Chiefs going to be number one because I think they're just better off for all team, and I think Patrick Mahomes going to take care of his outside business to help him lock off the number one seed. On the Ravens with their offense, will take the number two. Texans will edge out the Jets for the third seed. The third seed, my wild cards, I say the Steelers will get in. The Dolphins will definitely get in, and the Chargers, they'll get in with Jim Harbaugh. I think the Harbaugh system is going to lead them into a wild card, but not a win.
Anything more?
The playoffs.
Yeah. Chris? Let's see. Oh, I have to show yours. There you go.
Yep, I think the Texans get the number one seed and got great confidence in them. Browns number two. Chiefs, I think they'll win the division, but I think they've shown that they kind of coast in the regular season. I think they understand when to peak, when to hit their stride later on in the season. So they're not really concerned about laying it all out there for a single game. I think they know how to pace themselves. Then just number four. And then, like I said, my surprise pick is the Titans. I think they'll surprise a lot of people this year. Had to throw some crazy pick in there and there. So the Titans are my pick for the last wildcard spot.
Mine. I have the Ravens number one, Texans number two, Chiefs number three. As you said, they kind of coast. They don't care about proceedings as long as they're top four, and they're going to be top four no matter. Because nobody can rival them in that division. Maybe, as we said, Chargers maybe in a few years, and then the Bills, Dolphins, the Colts, and the Bengals. I'm surprised none of us had the Bengals besides. I actually changed it from the Browns to the Bengals because nobody else had the Bengals. I still think the Bengals have the talent. They have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. They don't have the running back. High on Zach Moss. I think he could be a good running back. And their defense is still fairly solid. But what are your quick thoughts about Bengals? Because I don't think we talked about the Bengals that much when we did the division.
So the Bengals, to me, I think it's a sleeper. It's a good sleeper team. I think with the loss of Joe Mixon really hurts them, so that's why I can't really keep them because you're taking away the biggest aspect of Joe Burrow's balanced offense is the run game, and I'm not a big fan of. I don't think that loss is that every down cow back like Joe Mixon was in the first place.
How about you, Chris?
I don't know. I think Joe Burrow is really good. He's starting to become healthy. He's coming off a wrist injury in the throwing hand. Jamar Chase is obviously elite. T. Higgins will have a good year. But I just don't know if they put it all together. I think people forget that they had a really tight point differential the year they went to the Super Bowl. So a lot of the games that they won down the stretch were very tight games that were one score or less. So I haven't seen enough evidence from the Bengals that they are year in, year out quality dominant team. So until I see that, yeah.
They're like the Bills. You don't know year from year what you're gonna get from those two.
I definitely agree.
Because Josh Allen and Joe Burrow are both elite quarterbacks. It's just that putting it together, at least Joe Burrow got to the Super Bowl. I don't know if you could say it was lucky, but he got to the Super Bowl. So can he get back? And can he finish the job this time? But we will see. Now to our Super Bowl picks. I'll let Chris. Oh yeah. So I have the Lions over the Ravens. I have the Lions winning Super Bowl. I think I'm very high on this Lions team, just like the Texans and the Eagles, but I just think the Lions can put it together and get to the Super Bowl. I think I love Dan Campbell. I think he's an intense coach, but he made some goofball decisions. But I think he can work that. Yeah, I think he can work those things out, and I think he just has a good team around him. So I have the Lions winning the Super Bowl over the Ravens. Who wants to go next?
I have the Chiefs over the Lions. I think that Mahomes is going to do something that Brady never did, which is win 3 in a row. I think with all the hype, I think they do actually do it, and then Andy Reid retires at the end of the year. I think Travis Kelce retires at the end of the year too.
Yeah. Cleneth?
All right. So I'll have the Eagles over the Jets. Because, like I said before, I think with a healthy Aaron Rodgers, the AFC playoffs is going to be an interesting dual matchups. We get to see, and I think the Jets will beat the Chiefs and Kansas City in the AFC Championship game.
That would be a good AFC championship game.
Yes.
But I think we all have good picks. Let's get to the games. The first game, Kansas City and Baltimore. Who do you guys have?
I have Kansas City.
You know the way how Kansas City always play in the first game. I won't be surprised if Baltimore gets a revenge in the AFC and wins it.
I have Ravens myself. So I think I spelled your name wrong. I'm sorry. So you have no. Thursday night football. Yep. So Chris, you have KC, and me and Clem have the Ravens.
Yep.
And then next one would be the Friday night game.
I think the Packers are going to win.
Oh, I thought we were all gonna pick the Eagles. Hold on.
No, I got the Packers. I think it's a trap game for the Eagles. Yeah, I got the Packers.
Yeah, that's why you never assume. I thought you were gonna say the Eagles too. So we all have, and Clem, if you have the Eagles, I'm assuming.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Yeah, so me and Clem have the Eagles. Kind of a homer pick for us. And Chris has the Packers. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles did lose. So hold on, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay, so I want to look at I want to say it just like this while Eric's away. With this game, I want to say the Eagles was going to win. It's going to be another close game. I think the problem I see with the Eagles is their training camp coaching styles of Nick Sirianni not refusing to play starters in the preseason. So to me, watching the first half of the Eagles game is like watching a preseason game. Those guys don't get no reps. They don't know what they're doing. And then they seem to come alive in the second half once they finally get a few hits in or two. That's why. So this game is going to be close when it really shouldn't be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially being on a national stage in Brazil. I think everybody betting wise is on the Eagles. I don't know if you know that, Chris. Do you know what the betting is for this?
Everybody's on the Eagles.
Yeah, that's what I
More
figured.
so than any other game.
That scares me. Damn, everybody's on Eagles. But yeah, so me and Cleneth have the Eagles, and Chris has the Packers. I don't disagree that it could be a trap game, and being in Brazil, aren't they? They're there for a week, right?
Yeah, I think they're already on their way.
Yeah. So sometimes the favorite doesn't win on a neutral site, as we all saw last week in college football with Florida State losing in Dublin, Ireland to Georgia Tech, and they're losing now. Don't want to talk about that, but it's not here or there. Yeah. So we'll move on to the next game I picked. Yeah, so we picked the 4 primetime games and then 4 other ones. Next one is the Jets and Dolphins. What do you guys have?
Maybe Jets. I think
I'll take the
Aaron
Jets.
Rodgers gets his redemption on opening week primetime.
You have the Jets, Chris?
Yep.
Okay. Chris?
Yeah, I'll take the Jets.
I have the Dolphins. So we're different here again. I like the Dolphins at home. Oh no, this is not Jets. This is Jags. Jags and Dolphins. My bad.
Oh, I'm taking the Dolphins.
Okay. That's my bad too. We'll get to that game. And the Dolphins too, Cliff. Cliff, you have the Dolphins?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah, so we all have the Dolphins. This game is interesting. It's Battle of Florida. Um, it's gonna be a toss up more than likely, but I think the Dolphins pull out at home. I think they have the better roster, the better. I want to say the better quarterback, but they have the better wide receivers around them. So, yeah, I just like the Dolphins at home. Who wants to go? Cliff?
Yeah. So, well, like I said, I think the Dolphins are just a better overall team. I think at home, and then plus, to tell you the truth, Dolphins play better, have a better home record than any team out there. Knowing warm weather games compared, but when they go on the road, it's a completely different story.
Oh yeah. Next game will be Chargers and Raiders. What do you got, Cliff?
I want to take the Chargers. Chargers will definitely make a statement in this game with Jim Harbaugh's their first game head coaching.
Yep. First game back in the NFL.
I agree. I like Chargers.
We don't have the Chargers. I have the Chargers for the same reason you guys have. First game, it's a rivalry game, but it might be in Vegas. But I think the Chargers will just have a better quarterback and a better coach. That's not even a question there. Next game is Colts and Texans, an early AFC South division game. What do you got, Chris?
Texans.
Kenneth?
I'll take the Texans as well.
So we all have the Texans here too. As we said in our picks earlier for the division, Texans are just a better quarterback, better team around him. Not to say the Colts don't have a good team, they do. But I think the Texans at home have something to prove. They want to get off to a good start. And now, the big Tom Brady debut on TV, Fox. The Browns and the Cowboys. What do you guys have?
The Browns.
Browns.
I think the Browns going to beat them down. Embarrassing. And not because I say I hate the Cowboys. It's because I just believe that this is going to be the worst season in Cowboys history we've seen in a while.
Yep. And I think the Browns are actually a good team, and the fact that it's in Cleveland and it's not the prime time game, but the 4 o'clock game. Tom Brady first game as a broadcaster should be interesting. All eyes is going to be on this game. That's for sure. Sunday Night Football. Another team that we are all high on. The Lions and Rams. What do you guys got?
Lions.
Tell you the truth, I think Matt, this is a game that Matthew Stafford will get his revenge from the playoff loss. I think the Rams will win this one.
The first meeting they had was in Detroit too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not the first time he's back in Detroit. So my brother and I have the Lions, and Cleneth have the Rams. It should be a good game. I think it could be the best game. Might be the best game of the weekend, maybe. Besides the Chiefs and Ravens, but that's Thursday night. So, and to finish it off, I'm assuming you have the Jets. Chris, because you said the Jets earlier.
Yeah. Jets.
Enough.
I'm taking the Niners.
And I will take the Niners myself. So Chris has the Jets. Me and Clinton have the Niners. I have the Niners because I don't think Aaron Rodgers has beaten the Niners in California in his career. I might be mistaken in that, but when he was a Packer, I think he was winless against them. So I have to check that, and I think the Niners at home want to make a statement. So I think they win a close game. Chris?
Jets.
Cleneth?
Man. I want to take the 49ers. I think the Niners are going to make a statement at home. I think it's going to be a close game, but and the Niners is going to pull away.
Yeah. If this was in Jersey, I would pick the Jets, but I think it's a long trip for the Jets, and as I said, I think Aaron Rodgers is either one win or winless against the Niners in California, in San Francisco. So I have to check that. But what else? Let's give a fantasy player. My fantasy player of the week is gonna be probably, I'm gonna say Stephon Diggs in his debut in Houston. How about you, Chris?
I think that's a good question. I would say coming off brand new extension, I think Brandon Ayuk has a good game.
That's a good pick. Cleneth?
I'm thinking that Jalen Hurts is going to show us all something special. What we've been wanting to see, as Kellen Moore run type of offense that him, AJ Brown, and Eagles players wanted last year. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to put up some big numbers against the Packers.
That's a good pick. I don't know if you guys have a best bet. I have a best bet, and I think Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown is my best bet. Let me see what it is. If they have it up yet.
While you're looking that up, I like the Packers to cover.
Packers to cover. I'm not seeing it yet. I don't know if it's up yet, but yeah, I have Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown for my best bet on the show. Cleneth, do you have a best bet? I don't know.
No, I do not.
Okay. Any final thoughts on the first week of the season, guys?
No.
No, that's all I got.
Well, it was good talking to you guys. It was a good first show. We'll be back next week, whoever, if you guys are available. We can talk about that. But we'll be back next week for week 2 preview and picks. You guys enjoy football? This almost there. 2 more days now. 2 more days, and then the Eagles on Friday. And thanks, guys. See you later.
See ya.
See ya.
Later.
Later. Oh wait. Let me plug subscribe and hit the subscribe button. Hit the like. Subscribe to our other channels on the YouTube page. When Tunes Combine. And then Wrestling Through the Years. Subscribe to that. And subscribe to When Tunes Combine. And then Grows Down. And then the Stabcast. This Friday night we'll be doing Wrestling Through the Years. We'll be doing Royal Rumble 2003 retrospective. Clarence will be back with us, with me, Doug, and Daniel. So we'll be live at 6:30 Eastern Time on youtube.com/Wrestling Through the Years. On Saturday, we'll be doing One Tune Combined. I forgot what we're doing. I think it's 5. I think Doug has 5 shows he wrote about. So I have to ask him again about that again. But yeah, so listen to that. Listen to the Rose Down with Daniel and Bobby, and then Sunday. That's on Sunday, and then Sunday afternoon listen to the Stabcast with Mindy and Daniel. The Stabcast, youtube.com/Stabcast, and that's it. See you later. I'll be back tomorrow for the college football week 2 preview because we at week 0. So I'll be back for that. And later.